Meanwhile, Cameroon are trying to get their tournament kick-started after that 1-1 draw in the opening game. We've talked a lot about Onana and his absence so far from this tournament. He addressed it by saying, "Let people continue to criticise me. I'm used to it. I do what is good for my country. It's like choosing between my father and my mother, but my country comes first. That's why I'm here. We're together. I have a lot of things to say, but I won't say it here because we are in a competition. I'm one of those leaders, so I take responsibilities, and that is why I'm here. I don't want people to criticise the youngest." He wants to take all the criticism.
Well, his country doesn't come first. I don't want to go over all ground and go.
I know, we go back to the World Cup, obviously.
I'm more interested in which one is his mother, which one is his father.
Oh.
Well, if his country comes first, right, which is his words, then how come he was lingering around getting Man United a very valuable point at home to Tottenham? Man United came first. Because if the country, you can't have it both ways, right? If you want to help Man United, which he did, then come out and say, I felt obligated to play for my club team here, and I was going to be late. But if you're going to say my country comes first and before anything else, then he wouldn't have played for Man United in that game. It's pretty simple. You can't. Both scenarios don't stack up. It's as simple as that.
There's a lot going on here, and while I understand and kind of supported what seemed to be a dialogue and the understanding between the Cameroon FA and Manchester United and Onana to allow him to stay and play that game and then travel late. Then he doesn't make the starting lineup, which seemed to be a bit of a surprise to him. Not a surprise at all to Rigobert Song, who said that was always the plan. Onana seems to voice some concern around that, which then suggests to me that Song was never that much on board with him, at the very least, arriving late, let alone coming back into the squad after what happened at the World Cup in 2022. So and I felt just the way that he left and the way that he was brought back in, I wondered if that kind of undermined Song's authority within the national team. And it shows that this was less about the coach in Rigobert Song and more about Cameroonian officials and Onana doing a deal to bring him back in. Once you start undermining the coach in that way, you're asking for a whole lot of trouble. And that's what it's kind of building to be.
Rigobert Song was asked about Onana playing tomorrow, and he says for Andre Onana, we'll see his form to see if he can play. Everything will depend on him. In this situation, Frank, you don't really want Onana coming out and saying anything, do you? Because it's not going to help.
Of course it's not. The coach already made his decision, and I agree with Shaka. I think that's the problem with some countries in this tournament, where some people are deciders where they shouldn't. They should let the coach deciding. And I think it was from Rigobert Song very clear that Onana is number 2, and he shouldn't play for Manchester United. He shouldn't come and take the private jet, and he shouldn't make any comment, especially a comment that doesn't mean anything, because he says two things completely opposite. That the country comes first, but I want to play for Manchester United and come the last time, at the last moment. So yeah, don't say anything, because otherwise you're gonna put everybody in the middle of something that we don't want to go, because it doesn't help the team to grow, the team to be united. It doesn't help anybody, especially your position. And this position is not clear. It doesn't make it clear. It doesn't help the coach to make it clear, so it's not useful.
Would you start him tomorrow, Shay? It looks like he will start.
I'll be honest. If it were me, if I were in charge of Cameroon, I wouldn't have him in the squad. Not what happened in 2022. I simply wouldn't. But again, I think this is more about Cameroonian FA officials getting into a conversation with Onana, because they believe he's the best goalkeeper, and you could certainly make that argument given the level that he's playing at, wanting him in the squad. But successful teams, it takes a lot more than the best 11 players. It takes everybody buying into whatever the coach is selling, everybody kind of having each other's backs. And once you walk out on a team once, I'm not sure how you mend those bridges. And if I'm the coach and you walk out of my team, you're not coming back. you can change coach and come back in, fine.
Right.
But if I'm the coach, if I'm still the coach, I'm not having you back.
And you know, it smacks of a sort of one rule for one and a different rule for others sort of mentality. And when you've got the other players in the squad who are there preparing for it, and he's off doing what he's doing for Man United and getting dispensation to do so, and then walks him back in, making big statements as if he's the big cheese of the whole scenario. Don't worry, everything's fine, lads, I'm back. It just doesn't sit well about, and particularly not with preparation. Preparation is huge, and you want everybody there, right? You want everybody there before it. You want to get everybody, and you want to get a sense of you know, form and how everybody's gelling. And it's such a big tournament. It's not like it's some small thing for the African countries. This is huge for them. And so I'm just a believer that whether he's either in the squad or he was out the squad. And once he was in the squad, whether we agree with that or not, he doesn't play in that game. He's there. He's building up to this competition like the rest of his teammates. And then Rigobert Song decides then if he's the number one or not.